Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today, we're really dialing into one of the most high-stakes workplaces you can imagine.
Absolutely.
Think about putting on a hard hat, metaphorically speaking, and looking, what, 50 feet up?
Easily, sometimes more.
Where electrical linemen are dealing with voltages over 500,000 volts. It's just incredible.
It really is an environment where precision isn't, a nice to have.
No, it's baseline. It's survival.
Exactly.
But our deep dive today, it's not really about the physics of insulation or, like, the mechanics of grounding, is it?
No, not the technical hands-on stuff directly. We're digging into something else.
We're looking at the administrative bedrock, I guess you could call it. Our mission is sort of unpacking why this thing called credential management.
Which sounds pretty dry, let's be honest.
Right. Tracking licenses, training certs.
Yeah.
Why that's actually fundamental, like life, death, huge contracts.
And even just keeping your career going, it all ties back.
So define it for us, credential management in this world.
Okay, so it's crucial for you listening to get this. In high voltage work, the admin side is a safety side. They're linked.
Right.
What the sources really hammer home is that proper credential management, that constant loop of tracking things, making sure they're renewed, getting them verified. It's like the frontline defense.
Frontline defense, how?
It's what ensures every single person up on that pole isn't just technically good at their job, but that they are legally, physically, and currently qualified for that dangerous work. Today, right now.
Okay, right. Currently is the key word there. Let's
Yeah.
unpack that, maybe starting with the biggest reason. Safety.
Always starts with safety.
When you're dealing with that kind of danger,
Yeah.
any slip-up in qualification, well, it could turn something routine into a catastrophe, instant.
No question.
And if the sources are clear, OSHA doesn't just mandate safety gear. They mandate verifiable competence. You have to prove you know what you're doing.
Exactly. And for anyone in this field or managing people in it, knowing the specific renewal cycles is just essential, non-negotiable, really.
So what are we talking about, specifics?
Well, you've got your standard OSHA 10-hour or 30-hour construction training. That's foundational.
Okay.
Then maintaining current CPR first aid certification. Obvious reasons there.
Sure.
But the really critical one, the one that often ties directly to whether you can even be on the job site doing energized work, that's the pole top or bucket truck rescue training.
Ah, the rescue part. And that needs frequent renewal.
Every 2 years, no exceptions. That one has to be current.
Okay, now here's where it gets kind of shocking, actually, showing how tiny admin failures blow up into massive problems. The sources gave a real-world example from 2022. An OSHA audit.
Yes, this one is a real eye-opener. A Midwest utility got slapped with a huge fine. We're talking $127,000.
Wow. Okay, $127,000. What did they do? Was there an accident?
That's the kicker. No accident. That's what's so important here.
Really?
The auditors found 3 experienced journeymen. These aren't rookies.
Okay.
Working on an active 69 kV line, so high voltage. And their arc flash training had expired.
Expired arc flash training. Right. That falls under what? NFPA 70E?
Exactly. NFPA 70E. That's the standard for electrical safety in the workplace. Covers things like PPC, approach boundaries, and yes, arc flash hazard analysis and training.
So wait, they got fined that much without an actual arc flash happening? Just for the training being expired?
Yes. It tells you everything about the regulatory focus, doesn't it?
It really does. It's purely about prevention. Proactive.
It's OSHA saying, look, these workers were in an immediately dangerous environment without the current mandated knowledge of how to protect themselves, or what to do if an arc flash did happen.
That's stark. And how far out of date were they? Was it years?
This is the really painful part. The sources noted their training had lapsed by only 2 months. Just 2 months past the 24-month renewal window.
2 months. $127,000 fine.
Wow. It just hammers home that competence isn't just what you remember, it's what's current on the calendar, legally speaking.
Okay, so that totally shifts the focus. It's not just about cleaning up after an injury. It's about preventing the exposure risk entirely. And it's not just fines after the fact.
Sure.
A lapse can stop a job dead in its tracks, right? Mid-project.
Oh, absolutely. Think about that rescue certification we mentioned. The pole top or bucket truck rescue.
Yeah, if you're one.
If yours expires, even if you're the best lineman on the crew, technically brilliant, the sources confirm the whole crew might have to stop energized work. Instantly.
The whole crew?
Yeah.
Just because one person's rescue cert is out?
Yes. Because if something goes wrong, who's certified to perform the rescue? You have to stop the job until that competence is verified, documented, and back in place.
That's competence verified in real time, as you said.
Exactly. And think about the consequences. It stalls the whole project, increases risk in other ways, maybe leaving a circuit incomplete. You've got idle equipment. It's a mess.
Makes total sense.
Mhm.
The rescue capability has to be live, if the work is live.
Mm.
Okay, so we've hit safety, the immediate risks, the huge fines. Let's zoom out a bit.
Okay.
How does this documentation mess, or lack of it, risk not just people, but the whole company, their ability to even get work?
Right. This connects to the bigger business picture. Compliance isn't just, a pain you deal with. It's the absolute entry ticket for the big jobs, the multi-million-dollar contracts.
How so?
Well, to even bid on major federal, state, or utility contracts, contractors have to submit these things called credential matrices.
Credential matrices. Explain that for listeners maybe not familiar.
Think of it like a master spreadsheet for compliance,
Hmm.
a formal list. It shows every single worker proposed for the job.
All right.
Every required credential they need, OSHA cards, CDL, maybe DINI-RC stat, whatever specified. And critically, the exact expiration date for every single one.
The dates again.
Always the dates. It's proof to the client before work even starts that your entire team is compliant, that you're ready and legal to go.
I see. So the stakes are sky high right from the bidding stage.
They really are. And beyond just winning the contract, you've got ongoing oversight from bodies like NERC.
The North American Electric Reliability Corporation.
Right. They have very specific certification and continuing education requirements for anyone working on the bulk electric system, the BES. That's the main grid infrastructure.
So if you don't meet any RC standards,
You simply cannot work on those critical assets, period.
and then there's the insurance angle, if something does go wrong.
It absolutely spirals into insurance liability. Carriers audit these records constantly, especially during a claim.
And what can happen?
Our sources point out that just one undocumented lineman, maybe someone whose cert expired last week, could potentially be enough grounds for the insurer to void coverage for the entire incident.
Void the whole coverage for one person's paperwork.
It can happen. Suddenly, an insurable accident becomes a potentially business-ending financial nightmare, all traced back to that credential management failure.
Okay, we have a really dramatic example of this, don't we? The connection between a credential and losing big money.
Yeah.
Tell us about that Texas contractor in 2024.
Yeah, this story's a perfect illustration. This Texas contractor, they were right on the edge of winning a massive storm restoration contract. Huge deal. $4.2 million.
Okay, big money. Needed work after a storm.
Exactly. But during the final checks, the pre-mobilization credential check, the utility found a problem.
What was it?
12% of the proposed crew, not one or two guys, but 12%, they lacked current CDL Class A endorsements. Their commercial driver's licenses weren't fully endorsed for Class A.
12%. Okay, that's a chunk. But why did that specific license matter more than, say, their line work skills? They needed linemen.
Right. But it wasn't about driving pickup trucks. It was about the essential heavy equipment.
Yeah.
That CDL Class A was mandatory because those specific workers were needed to operate the heavy digger derricks, those massive trucks with the augers.
Yeah, the really big ones.
They weigh over 26,001 pounds gross vehicle weight rating. That triggers the Class A requirement. Without that specific endorsement, those workers were legally barred from driving that essential machinery to the work sites.
So even if they could climb the pole, they couldn't get the pole there, basically.
Essentially, yes.
Yeah.
The lack of that single specific administrative credential, the Class A, meant the crew, as proposed, couldn't actually do the job as specified in the contract.
And the result?
They lost the contract, the whole $4.2 million. It went to the next bidder who could prove their crew was fully compliant, including the driver qualifications, sidelined by paperwork.
That is crystal clear proof. Credential management isn't just defense against fines, it's offense. It determines if you even get to play.
Well put.
But let's shift focus again. We've talked risks, fines, contracts. How does this help the actual worker, the lineman on the tools? This sounds like a burden.
But it's also their career path. This is where it becomes, motivating for the individual.
How so?
For the lineman, these credentials, they structure your professional growth. They track your progress. For apprentices, hitting those milestones, like the 4,000-hour milestones, means pay raises, moving to the next stage. It's documented proof of experience.
Okay, so it's tied to advancement.
Definitely. And for journeymen, it's how you pursue higher status, like becoming a certified journeyman lineman, CJLM, or getting specialized certs, maybe for substation technician work. It opens doors.
And what's really changing the game here, according to the sources, is how these are tracked, right? Moving away from paper.
So absolutely. towards digital credential wallets. This is a huge shift.
Making verification faster.
Massively faster. The rise of digital platforms, things like the Utility Line Worker Registry or systems from places like the Northwest Lineman College, they're revolutionizing hiring and critically deployment, especially during emergencies.
Mutual aid scenarios, you mean, like storms.
Exactly.
Yeah.
These systems are built for instant verification. Scan a code, see the proof.
And there's a powerful example of this too, isn't there? Hurricane Ian 2022.
Yeah.
Florida Power and Light.
Yes, a fantastic example of this efficiency in action.
Hmm.
FPL needed thousands of outside workers, mutual aid linemen, and they needed them fast. Power was out everywhere.
Under huge pressure.
Immense pressure. So they used a system with QR-coded credential badges. When mutual aid crews arrived,
They just scan the badge.
right, scan the badge and instantly verify qualifications. Everything from their basic lineman suits to their DOT physical status. They processed and onboarded 1,200 mutual aid linemen in under 48 hours.
1,200 people in less than 2 days. That's incredible. Think of the old way, faxing papers.
Exactly. The administrative logjam they bypassed was enormous. Instant proof meant instant deployment to where they were needed most.
But what happened to the workers who showed up without this digital readiness?
Well, the flip side was pretty brutal. If you didn't have scannable, current, easily verifiable digital credentials, you were simply sidelined.
Ouch.
You might have the skills, the truck, the willingness to help, but if you couldn't prove your qualifications immediately in that high-pressure situation, you couldn't get dispatched. You became a liability waiting on paperwork, not an asset restoring power.
So that instant verification literally means the difference between working and sitting on the sidelines during a crisis.
Absolutely critical.
Which brings us right to the practical stuff.
Yeah.
What should people, linemen, supervisors, contractors be doing now? How do they avoid these pitfalls?
Okay, the main goal has to be centralization and automation. Get away from scattered paper files.
So use technology.
Yes. Best practice really starts with using a dedicated digital wallet service. The sources mention CertLock as one example.
And what does that do practically?
It stores all your documents digitally, securely. But the key thing is it generates proactive alerts, reminders.
Right. You can't just rely on memory or a calendar note anymore. What kind of alert system should people set up?
Needs to be robust, multi-stage. The sources strongly recommend setting up alerts at 90 days, 60 days, 30 days, and then 15 days before any credential expires.
90, 60, 30, 15. For everything.
For everything. That gives you plenty of lead time to book a course, schedule an exam, whatever's needed, and don't forget things that can trip people up.
Like what?
Like the medical side for CDL holders, your DOT physical. That's typically every 24 months. If that medical card expires, your Class A license is basically useless for commercial driving.
Back to the Texas contractor scenario again.
Exactly. That DOT physical is a credential just like the others. Needs the same alert system.
Okay, that's for the individual. What about supervisors managing whole teams? How do they keep track?
Supervisors have got to ditch the separate files. They need centralized crew rosters.
Like a shared spreadsheet? Or something more advanced?
Could be a live shared spreadsheet, or better yet, an enterprise portal, maybe something like CertLock Connect, as mentioned in the sources. The key is that this roster must flag upcoming expirations automatically.
Color coding, maybe? Red flags.
Perfect example. Red means expiring soon, green means good to go. A supervisor, Jen, checks her tablet before the morning shift, sees a red flag next to Bob's name for his rescue cert expiring next week.
Catches it right there.
Catches it before Bob even gets in the truck. Stops the potential violation, saves the fine, avoids the work stoppage. It's an administrative safety check.
That makes sense. A digital pre-check. Now, you also mentioned documenting cross-training, even stuff that isn't formally certified. Why log those hours?
Because experience counts, and increasingly, clients and regulators want documented proof of that experience, not just the certificate.
So like ride-alongs?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Log those supervised ride-along hours, log mentored work. We know some utilities won't let a lineman do solo energized work until they have, say, 8,000 documented hours of specific types of experience.
8,000, wow.
So documenting that journey, that accumulated specific experience, becomes just as vital as having the initial piece of paper. It builds the full picture of competence.
Okay, so let's tie it all together. The cost of neglecting all these best practices. If you don't manage credentials properly, what's the bottom line hit? We've heard some numbers.
Yeah, the cost is steep, and it hits in like 3 main ways. First, you've got those direct OSHA fines, up to $15,625 per violation based on 2025 rates.
Per violation. So one worker, 3 expired certs.
That could be 3 separate fines, adds up fast.
Okay, what's next?
Second, operational costs. Project delays. Especially during storm response or major construction, delays can easily cost $50,000 a day, or even more, depending on the contract penalties.
50,000 a day. Just because someone's paperwork wasn't right?
If it stops the whole crew, yes. Lost revenue, potential penalties, it's huge.
Astronomical. And the third area.
This is potentially the worst. Workers' comp claim denial.
How does that happen?
If a worker gets injured and the investigation shows they lacked the required documented training for the specific task they were doing when they got hurt,
The insurance company might.
the insurance carrier might refuse the claim. They'll argue the company was negligent by allowing an unqualified worker to perform that task.
And that could sink a smaller company, surely.
Absolutely. Wipes out a small contractor or seriously hurts even a big utility's finances, all potentially stemming from a missed renewal date.
So this entire deep dive really just keeps circling back to one core idea: the absolute need for administrative rigor in arguably one of the most dangerous jobs out there.
That's exactly it. The final takeaway from all the source material couldn't be clearer. For an electrical lineman, your credentials are your license to climb. Full stop.
License to climb, I like that.
It means you have to treat the admin, the renewals, the documentation, logging the hours with the exact same seriousness, the same checklist mentality you apply to checking your insulated gloves or setting up your grounding equipment.
It's taking that safety culture, that operational discipline, and applying it directly to the paperwork.
Precisely.
You wouldn't climb on a frayed rope, right? You wouldn't use damaged tools 50 feet up.
Of course not.
So why rely on an expired piece of paper that legally compromises you, your crew, your company? Treat the documents like you treat your tools. Inspect them. Keep them current.
That's the mindset shift.
So we'll leave you, the listener, with this final thought, something to chew on.
Okay.
The next time a major storm hits, or you're facing a known arc flash hazard, think about this. What's really standing between you and disaster? Is it all your years of skill and experience? Or could it be an expired certificate tucked away somewhere that legally means you shouldn't even be there?
That really puts it in perspective.
That's when credential management stops being admin and becomes actual life-saving safety.